matters. You have the team, you have the first basis of what is needed to be successful. Then you need to have passion. Like what you are doing needs to be something that matters to you. And it was great to watch his presentation on Dexoris, because it's obvious, like, he cared about it. Like, he used to work in a bank, this is what he wants to do, and he spoke about the people around him. Like, and you get a certain sense, like, people are not just doing it for the money. He has a team in place, he likes working with them, they like what they're doing, they spend a lot of time doing it, and these are usually the ingredients, and that's when you get this up and running. And the point about the artists, it's about, like, coming to things like this, do a little project, like, get to know the people, like, some people like each other, you have an artist and a programmer and a designer, you sort of work together, do a little test. Okay, do you really like to work together? Do you like crunching deep into the night and eating cold pizza for dinner for 3 weeks or years? And that is those are the two most important parts. It's the team and it's the passion. And also what you need is, like, sheer determination. Like, I would say that the third factor which made CCP successful was the sheer determination of getting it done. Like, we would complete this game or die doing it. It's actually not that difficult to be successful. You just try until you're successful or you're dead. Like, both are successful exits. Gonna die anyway, and all that. And I mean, you probably heard the story. CCP went for periods of months without paying any salaries. Like, we went through various ups and downs, but it was always the team that stuck together. They had the passion of getting Email Line done, and sheer amount of determination to just die trying to do it. If you have these three factors involved, it almost doesn't matter what it is which you start doing, because in the end you will end up either dead or successful if you have these foundations. Then, of course, you need money. I've often been accused of, like, saying that these were the things that made CCP successful, but we also were a little bit lucky in the environment. Back in the year 2000, when we raised money privately, then it was a good funding opportunity. It was even though the bubble had technically burst, the news hadn't arrived in Iceland, so it was possible to raise money. And I would say we have a bit of that environment today. Like, even though Iceland has fallen down, there is still a lot of money in Iceland, and it is, like, piling up in bank accounts due to the high interest rate, as we talked about. But interest rates are going to get lower, and when you have inflation and low interest rate, then people are forced to make investment into something to just keep their money from shrinking. So I think we will see next year a lot of opportunity for companies to be formed, and now is the time to find the people, build the team, have a passion for it, be determined, and then I'm going to make another point, which is starting small. And if you flick a little bit, and let's skip this. This is sort of what skip I have.
Just not too.
Click faster. Click. Aha. So my next point is about starting small. So this is the first running version of Email Line, and this is something that 3 programmers did in a period of probably 2 months. And okay, it took us 2 months to do this, and we made Peter and Vlad in 3 months, which looks way better. Like what the fuck were we doing? But of course, there was a lot of groundwork laid. Like we started 3 programmers, we had nothing. We had to develop a persistency engine on the back end for the database, client-server interaction, share state, and all that stuff, state management, and all that. So what you see here is basically spaceships. They can fly around, they can shoot each other, they have, like, armor and structure. You can chat. It's actually, technically, if you read the text here, then he finds out that the ships are quicker to heal if you log in and out. So it's technically the first exploited game for Hilmar. We've run up against this on and off for the past 7 years even, this particular bug. So that's about starting small. Like, if you're making a big game, then start with something which is a small vertical slice of the game, finish that, complete it, ship it, box it, make a marketing program for it, and then go on to the next one. We used a development method called stage delivery planning, which is a structure around this. CCT has then evolved it into Enterprise Scrum, which emphasizes the same basis of having the software running at critical points in time and not being this sort of open-ended of constantly developing. So start small, and you will know along the way. Like if you're making a game that's going to take 3 weeks, then have it working 3 months, and then have it working every 2 weeks. So, and there's a lot of opportunity now to start small. I mean, the iPhone is a great environment to test your skills, and Unity, which was mentioned before, is an awesome environment to do a game and get it done, get it out to market, and just test what the reaction is. So, build a team, have the passion for it, sheer determination, start small, and next year there will be funding opportunities. So I see 5 companies here in this hall, if I just sort of map it out, which will be awesome. We waited for a long time that some companies would follow in our footsteps, and to see the IGI and like what are we up to now, 10 companies, 10 companies, and probably going to be 20 next year. So that was that. Any questions?
I have a question not about company, but on just seeing this. Did you ever play Escape Velocity on the Mac?
No.
Okay. That was it.
Okay.
You know, starting off small, you know, you just got a couple of guys here. Do we really have to form a company? Is that necessary for you know, future success?
No, not really. I mean,
we have to make it official.
Yeah. You want to get married? No. No, you don't have to form a company. I mean, of course, if you plan to put the game on the market and sell it, it's good to have something around it. And if it is a big idea which you mean to continue, then it's good to have a company owning it for the IP rights, etc. But if you're just making a really small game and it's your first project together, then you don't really need to form a company. I mean, forming a company isn't that expensive, but still, it does cost. And you don't really have to go through that until you've done your sort of first project.
And it's also worth mentioning that a lot of guys here probably have like already working for some companies.
Yep.
And they should check their contracts as well.
Yeah, very right.
There are some of the guys have contracts that include, you know, you're not allowed to do anything, everything's on.
Yeah.
You do everything's on the company you work for. So, especially talking about IP rights.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You should definitely check your contract. Technically, in Iceland, nobody can forbid you to work. Like it's covered in the constitution, and you cannot really negotiate that right away. But as he mentioned, a lot of employment contracts have clauses where everything that you do is by default done by the company, and you don't really want to go through the hassle of unwinding that.
Yes, you wouldn't want to have the same thing happen to you as what happened to Tim Burton when he made The Nightmare Before Christmas. Because he was working for Disney when he came up with the concept, they now own the rights to the entire movie and everything.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
Yeah. So, really good point.
So it touches the equipment as well. A lot of companies give computers.
Yeah.
So can Iceland might accept laws that are, or bylaws that are in the European Union that are especially revolving around these things. So a word of advice, really check into that before, because who knows, maybe you get really successful as a company.